What episode is this? This is like episode
3000.
8? No, for the Cool Animal People.
I don't even know anymore. I forgot that we,
Came back.
hello.
Hello.
Oh, welcome.
My name is Mauro,
And I'm Dan.
and this is
We're having a meltdown because I screwed up the intro, and this is Cool Animal People.
Cool Animal People.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Do we have anything interesting to say other than the very interesting conversation we had with our guest?
I'm moving,
He's moving next week.
or in the past, I have
He's
moved.
moved.
I have moved.
This is already a train wreck.
I have moved because of we're opening a doggy daycare in Long Island.
Oh, we are.
So that is why I'm moving. But is there anything else interesting we have to talk about?
Not really.
All right. Well,
I'm going to California in July.
Moro's going to California, so there's that.
Yeah, and today we talked with Leigh D'Angelo, who is the creator and co-founder
And CEO.
and CEO of Dig.
And Tabby.
Wait, can we build up to something? Can we have some sort of build up ever? Why do we have to like when you go to a 5-course dinner, are all 5 courses on the table when you walk in?
Is that
Let
what
it
this
build
is?
up.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened today.
Dig is a dog dating app for dog owners.
Dog people.
Dog people, not owners, and also owners. And Tabby, which is a dating app for cat lovers. 2 wonderful ideas.
Flawlessly executed.
Yeah, honestly, available on iOS and Android. So just download it if you love cats. Tabby, if you love dogs. Dig. And find your significant other who also loves cats and dogs. Because we talked about the meaningful connections that people build on dating apps nowadays, which can be, elevated when you have this sort of niche community.
Yeah, you could trust somebody more if they've got a dog or a cat.
We talked about that, about how dog people and just animal people in general are just better.
Yeah, I mean, for
just
at least from
generally?
our perspective,
No, I feel like objectively.
there's more compassion.
Yeah.
I think there's more empathy, there's more caring, there's more love. Not to say that people who aren't dog or
There are
cat
outliers.
people, but like
There's exceptions. There's always exceptions.
I try to surround myself with animal lovers.
Exactly. And if you are single and looking to surround yourself with animal lovers as well,
Go download.
Go download Dig and Tabby because they are wonderful apps.
Yeah.
And Leigh is also wonderful. She explained everything flawlessly.
Yeah. Also, super ridiculously well-rounded person. Like her resume,
More qualified for anything than anyone I've ever met.
like resume stacked. Like I
Yeah.
like to pride myself on doing a lot of cool shit in my life.
I've done 3 things in my life. She rattled off like 20 job descriptions in 35 seconds, and it was amazing.
Yeah. So definitely check this interview out. You're going to love it. And if you're single and ready to mingle with dog or cat people, go download Dig or go download Tabby. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Leigh D'Angelo. All right, guys, we are here with none other than the CEO and co-founder of both Dig and Tabby. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Leigh D'Angelo. Leigh, thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, I'm excited to chat with y'all.
We are very excited to have you. So before we dive in, obviously we know who you are and the amazing things that you do. Can you give our listeners and our fans a little bit about who Leigh D'Angelo is?
Man, can your listeners see me blushing already? That's so nice. I am Leigh D'Angelo, CEO and co-founder of Dig, the dog person's dating app, and Tabby, the cat person's dating app. And these are apps for people who are dog lovers and dog owners and cat lovers and cat owners looking to find someone who's compatible with their pet-forward lifestyle.
Pet-forward lifestyle. I
love
like that.
Yeah, no, because I feel like... So we both, a little backstory, like great idea, by the way, on both apps, something very much needed. We both of our relationships started
Tinder.
through Tinder. Okay, so there wasn't at that time. I think there wasn't many niche dating apps.
Yeah, when were you guys founded?
We started just in Brooklyn, actually.
Oh, no way.
On Valentine's Day 2018.
Right,
And we launched city by city across the country just for iPhones until we opened up Android in about October that year. And then we opened up nationwide during COVID before launching Tabby on International Cat Day 2020 in the middle of the pandemic in August. But yeah, so we've been around for a little while, but for most people, very, very new.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to Tinder's been around what
long time,
like now a long time. Bumble, like there's all these like general dating apps, but we don't have probably one of the first questions that is asked in every like new match on Tinder and Bumble is like, oh, do you like dogs? Do you like cats?
Yeah.
Like you eliminate that completely. That icebreaker is gone thanks to those two apps.
And I
And
do
for
have to
us,
say,
you know what?
no,
Go
keep
ahead, please. I want to hear that. No, I want to hear from
No,
you.
I was gonna say I
'Cause-
get so excited. So when we're meeting with clients and stuff like that, sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, can you watch the dog? I got a date tonight or something like that." And I always get so excited anytime I'm like, "Oh, have you checked out Dig or Tabby?"
Right, yeah.
Because some people don't know about it. I'm like, "No, there's an app for dog people. There's an app for cat people, and you need to get on it." And every single person that I have referred it to absolutely loves what you guys have built. Like you guys have made a really great product, and it's such a cool thing seeing it. Obviously, it's hard saying niche because it's there's
I know, but it's
either
still niche.
there's
It's still
dog
niche,
and there's
yeah.
cat people, and that's millions and millions of people.
Yeah.
But like, what a fantastic idea. I feel like it's one of those
you're
things
hitting
that's
on
so
a key
simple.
point here.
Yeah.
So dog people, obviously that's a niche, right? Or a niche, however you guys would like to say it. But there are so many of them. More than 50% of single adults in the U.S. are pet owners, with dogs leading the way and cats right behind them. And then on top of that, you're kind of talking about the difference between your general dating apps and niche ones. But the average dating app user uses 3 or 4 apps at a time. In
Right.
cities like New York and LA and San Francisco, they're using even more than that. And so you're actually supplementing by being able to see more people by adding niches to kind of your repertoire.
Yeah.
And so you can kind of cut to the chase, find someone who loves dogs as much as you do. And that means something different to so many people because it's such a big niche. Starting with the idea of dogs opens up the right conversations, right? Because a dog person in Texas who, has their lab in the back of their pickup truck to go hunting is a different dog person
Right,
than the New York City lady who's holding a chihuahua on the subway in her little bag, right? And so you have to at least get to are we dog people? And then what does that really mean? And that having this space to have those conversations up front, make sure you're on the same page.
That's a good point because also the interface and all the features reflect that. You can customize your dog's profile as much as you can customize your own profile. You can check if your dog is dog friendly, cat friendly, or all these other characteristics that just by seeing someone on Tinder holding a dog, you don't really get that much depth into it. It's like, oh, that could just be a friend's dog. That could just be them at the
Tinder-
dog park taking a picture.
Tinder clickbait.
That's what I was gonna get at because my profile picture when I met my girlfriend Juliet, it was a dog because we're a dog walking company, and what better way to get pictures
That's
of dogs?
called dog fishing. If
I
that
know. I'm
wasn't your
so
dog,
sorry.
that's
It
called
wasn't
dog
my
fishing.
dog, but it was Molly. Like
Yeah.
just a cute, like Cavapoo, just adorable, and it was a great photo. But that's what sort of brought her attention to me, and then like. With Dig, you just cut to the chase. Like there's not, hey, I'm a dog person. Yeah, I know that. You're on this app. You don't have to tell me that,
Yeah.
You sort
so
of
I
cut
have
to the
to tell you
clutter.
something though. I love that you brought up Cavapoo because Cavapoo is the reason we started Dig.
No
Oh
way.
my God, really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So you just said, you can picture a Cavapoo, super cute. You decided to use the Cavapoo as your dog fishing photo. It's so cute, right? My sister was dating a guy who tried to be a dog person for her, and she had a Cavapoo. Still does. Layla is wonderful. For people who can't picture a Cavapoo, picture a teddy bear. There's like nothing closer.
We'll put a picture
right?
up.
Okay, good. Yeah, see this photo of Layla or other Cavapoo. But, for someone to not want Layla in their apartment means so much. I mean, that means you're so not dog person, right? Because this is something that loves everybody.
Yeah.
Doesn't shed, is small, is not going to annoy you, knows how to live in an apartment. I mean, this guy couldn't take the next step because he just didn't want Layla around. And Casey said to me, I wish I just knew from the start this wasn't going to work because of my dog. That's why we started building Dig, was you shouldn't have to get to that point. These conversations about things that matter the most to you in your life and the type of life you want to lead should be upfront in these conversations as you're meeting people. And for dog people, having a dog in your house is not just a pet.
Yeah.
It's how much money you spend. It's how often you travel. It's how clean you keep your house. And for women who especially understand what I mean here, meeting guys who love dogs show that they have the capacity to love. And when you're on those general dating apps, that can be a big question, right?
That's true,
You think that's obvious, but it's not. And so you're cutting to the chase in so many different ways.
I'm curious. So you guys obviously launched Tabby during the pandemic. How has it changed the business overall? Like, obviously, in the beginning, you could meet up, you could meet each other's dogs, and there was this great way of interacting. Obviously, the first at least 6 months of it, it was kind of nobody really wanted to do anything. How did it affect just the user flow and all that stuff?
Well, I'll talk about the difference between Dig and Tabby, because cats' lives didn't change too much, right? They never had the opportunity to go out. We just had, humans around a lot more. And so we, launching in the middle of a pandemic for cat people made a little bit more sense to us because we just kind of knew that their lives weren't that different. They were going to need this before, during, and after the pandemic. And that's how I actually started thinking about it. Cat people needed a dating app like this. Dog people wanted a dating app like this.
Right.
Because dog people wanted to cut to the chase. Yeah. Cat people didn't necessarily know who was another cat person out on the street, at bars and things like that. You need to be a little bit more upfront and find the community in another way. But in general, for the pandemic, like you said, people weren't going out to bars. They weren't meeting each other. And so everyone flocked to dating apps. We saw a huge surge for people for Dig. And then when we launched Tabby right in the middle, it really made a lot of sense as people just wanted to continue making those connections and planning for after the pandemic. During the pandemic for date ideas, we said dog people are going to leave their house because they have to walk their dogs. So if you're going to meet someone else, we suggest 2 leash lengths apart, right?
I like that.
We can find a way to make it work as long as you're safe and as long as you understand up front having the conversation about what they're comfortable with, what you're comfortable with, what's happening in your city. We made sure that was part of the conversation. But, that's what we really encourage all the time because introducing dogs has to be a conversation too.
Oh, yeah.
We really encourage safety on that side. So that wasn't an unusual step for us to take and say, as you're having this conversation about how you're introducing dogs or dogs to kids or, I don't know. I mean, people to people should have these conversations too, I think sometimes. But it wasn't a big step for us to then say, you need to have this additional safety conversation.
Well, that's all. Yeah.
It makes sense because, like you said, people flock to dating apps. Those people without pets, without dogs more specifically, had no need to go outside, every day. I'm talking about every day, not just go out like in the span of a week.
In Brooklyn, y'all can just get stuff delivered all the time.
Right. Yeah. So,
nice.
that's such a key factor here because like you could meet someone on Dig and say, hey, I'm going out for a walk.
I'm going to McCarran.
At McCarran Park. And it's a big enough space. You have the track there. You can be on one lane. The other person can be on the other lane. You're far enough apart. I'm sure you guys, outline all the safety features in the app and everything. And that's just such a meaningful way to meet someone, I think.
I also feel like
go out for a walk with your dogs.
The difference too between Moro's, what are you, 6'6"?
6'6".
Moro's 6'6". I'm 6 foot, but we're 2 relatively big guys. I'm never worried too much about my safety when I'm going out on a date. Now, my fiance, she's Alex, sorry if I'm wrong, 5'5", 5'6".
Yeah,
5'6".
5'5".
She's not gonna be able to beat me up, and I feel like having your dog there is just a nice extra layer of security because I've seen it where dogs, they pick up on who people are, and if a dog is kind of sketched out by a person, other than
I feel like that's really meaningful too if you're trying to build a connection with someone. If your dog doesn't like the person you're meeting, maybe listen to your dog.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's a huge tell.
Red flag, right? Or at least, you have this up front. Is this something we're willing to work through?
Right.
Yeah.
And have that, is this person worth it, where I'm going to have to make sure that everyone's on the same page here, which you absolutely should. And there's the physical side of safety, but so many people are just so much more comfortable around their dogs.
Yep.
So, whether you feel safe or not, it's just the type of conversations you have when you're around your dog are just more human. I like to say it's hard to be pompous when picking up dog poop.
Yeah.
Right. You can come off as this
we
big,
know
tall,
that.
6'6", guy walking around McCarran Park, whatever it is, and then you have to lean down and pick up dog poop as you're trying to be cool, right? We're gonna see who you are when you're around your dog.
Yeah, I think you definitely see who people are
We
when,
know
when
that
they're with
firsthand,
their
yeah.
pet too. Just everyone has their hi, how are everyone's got their baby dog voice and stuff like that.
Well, everyone likes to be, it's like a side, a vulnerable side when you're with pets.
Yeah.
Go to a dog park. You're not gonna see a serious. That's a cute dog. No, it's oh my god.
Yeah.
It's such a
That's at
different.
least us.
It's such a different personality when you are around other dog lovers and pet lovers, and this app is bringing all those people and facilitating the meeting of all of these people, which is really cool.
Yes,
honestly.
yes. And we're trying to build that feeling of having your dog with you on those dates on the app itself. We're trying to build this space where you're constantly thinking about your future and how your dog fits into that, how these people might fit into that. And so those same conversations you're having in person that are different because your dog's there, we're trying to create that space so you feel that way from the start as you're just getting to know these people.
Now, I know you launched a new feature during the pandemic called Dog Park, right?
Yes.
How has that been going? How has that worked? You want to tell everyone a little bit about that?
Yes. So we have the digital dog park on Dig, and we have the same kind of feature on Tabby called the Cat Tree. And what you can do is you can see everybody on the app there. It's a little bit like a social feed, but it gives you a little bit more prompts in order to have conversations with everybody there. So you can post your favorite dog-friendly businesses nearby and let people know about them. We've got different polls that we post all the time, so you can kind of get to know what other people on the app are thinking. On Tabby, we had, where do you find the most cat hair? And it was your couch, your shirt, that sort of thing. It sparks conversation, and people can post directly under these things right away. You can post your own little blog. We've seen people post, trying out dog pickup lines, would this work? That sort of thing. So we really wanted to encourage more of a space. And the whole idea was exactly what we're saying here, is just missing the dog park, missing those funny dog acquaintances. Dog park politics can be hilarious. They can be horrible. You could never talk to someone there. So we're trying to take that awkward part of it. We were trying to take all the good part of it and where did you find that awesome leash and that awesome harness? We've got different deals from local pet companies. We've got people posting, adoptable animals and things like that. So we're really starting the community there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it goes beyond finding a significant other who also loves dogs. It's just finding the right community of dog lovers. It's like this whole ecosystem of oh my god, where did you get that nice collar? Oh, I got it here. Oh my god. And it's just this back and forth between everyone that uses the app, which is really cool.
Yeah. Our main purpose is to help you find love and find the person that you want to be with. But we think that you can't really do that in a vacuum. Your general dating apps kind of represent what it'd be like at a bar. Do we really want that? No, we want you to be surrounded by other dog people.
Yeah.
Maybe there's not a real life equivalent of that. I think the dog park's really close when you start talking about these things. And so that's what we wanted to recreate.
It's eliminating the, what would you call it?
The filtration process, getting rid of the bullshit. Because I remember being on dating, going through Tinder and just being maybe, I don't know. And then you're dealing with all the results. Because when you're dealing, I feel with these huge platforms, and it's basically
it's radio noise.
You're just you're picking from a huge pool of people. Whereas this makes it so much easier. Because I know for me, I need to be with somebody who likes animals. That's
100%.
That's going to be a part of my life.
Yeah.
So
No, but even with the dog park feature, like I said, it's not just about finding a significant other. You could come across someone in the dog park that wrote an amazing blog that you enjoyed, and then you keep following what they're posting, and then eventually you might fall for them And, that's how the connection starts. It's not just about, okay, I swiped and I just saw a picture of them and I have to pick left or right.
Yeah.
Or they disappear forever.
Yeah.
And then you don't see them ever again.
Yeah.
Or you just join the dog park.
Or you find a phenomenal person who can watch your dog while you go on your date. Or,
Exactly.
really building it out as we start to introduce new features soon, which will be videos that'll be people like vets and trainers being able to teach you something you might be able to use on your
cool.
date.
Oh.
Or using it as a group date while you're on the app itself. And so kind of having that option of maybe learning the Heimlich maneuver. You never thought that would be sexy until you realize how important it is.
Yes.
And it's something you both realize matters to you, and it starts a conversation in a totally different way. And so that's really where that space is going to be growing.
If I'm out on a date and my dog starts choking and someone saves my dog with a Heimlich maneuver, that's the hottest thing you can do.
You're going to fall.
I couldn't agree more.
I'm marrying
100%.
you. I'm marrying you that easy.
Yes.
You got Dan's attention with the whole implementation of
Yeah, I was like, wait, how do I get my business on there? We'll talk after about this because we want to do training videos for you guys, all sorts of stuff. Now, I got to know, what has been, obviously, aside from your sister meeting her significant other, who has been your favorite pairing through the app that you've seen?
I have one favorite.
Okay.
They're a Northeast couple. He's 70 years old. It was his second marriage. She's, I think it was 52, and he had a dog, and she did not, but she thought she had to for the app. So she took her friend's dog to take pictures with.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And they met in the Boston area, and they were engaged after meeting on Dig.
I'm gonna cry.
That's so
adorable.
cool.
I know.
So cute. Oh
Yes,
my
I love
God.
that story, obviously, for all of the right reasons. But also, I sometimes forget to mention one of my favorite parts of the app is, we're not a super young app. You're not going to find a ton of people college age. You're going to look at people who are pet owner age or above, right?
Yeah.
And so, or new pet owner age and above, I should say. And so we found really quickly that we were seeing a lot of divorcees on the app because obviously these are people who understand and know how to care for family and, have always cared about dogs. And that's their main person in their life right now. And so getting to see this other generation who didn't have experience maybe necessarily with Tinder, Dig being their first dating app. We really didn't expect that from a lot of people just because there are so many out there. We're new. But it was something about the dog that made them feel comfortable to finally take that step and find people in this new way.
That's such a good point because if you go back to, using that example, like a 70-year-old joining Tinder, society would crucify that. They would be like, oh my God, you're 70 and you're on Tinder? Are you kidding me? But this level of comfortability with Dig, having a dog and, being around other dog people, they're not going to judge you that you have a dog. They're not going to judge you for your age. I feel like animal and dog people are pretty understanding and tolerable about everything.
I think it's that common denominator. It's like,
exactly.
If you could agree on, I've seen this. I've been working with animals for 15 years. If you get someone talking about their pet, it's a different connection than anything else. So you could talk about, small talk, the weather, politics, or whatever. You get someone talking about their dog, their eyes light up. It's a different conversation. And I feel like it's just, I don't know. I feel like
I'm smiling thinking about my dogs and my cat now.
I'm so happy with my relationship and I would not trade it for the world. But man, this is such a great app. And it would have been wonderful to
we
have
do
that.
have to tell people all the time, we do not break up relationships.
No.
Just tell someone else.
No, I want to make sure everybody knows about this because we actually did a little poll and there were so many people who didn't know about it that follow us. So our goal is to get as many people on the app as possible because who doesn't want to, at the end of the day, the goal would be hopefully that people fall in love. And if they want to have kids, they have a family and all that stuff, make more dog and cat people. That's what the world needs at the end of the day.
I think so. I think there's a correlation between just niceness and kindness and loving animals.
Yeah, I've never
100%. I'm going to science has to prove that with some empirical evidence because I don't think I've ever met a person that likes dogs and cats.
That's a monster.
That's just a monster. I just love everyone that loves cats and dogs.
So you
I
have your
couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
you have your dog with you. Now, for those of you listening, you're not going to be able to see it, but obviously we want to wake her up, or at least it. Oh my
There we
God,
go.
she's
Hello.
so cute.
She's
Hi.
sleeping in the background right now.
And how old is
Pillow
she?
that she put there. She's
the
about to be
blanket.
5. She actually took the pillow from the back of the guest bed behind me and brought it up closer. And then I put the blanket around her right there. But yeah, she's really cute.
So, did you utilize the app yourself? Or I know you're married, correct?
I am married, and I met my husband on Tinder before Dig existed.
All right,
Wow,
so
all
three
Tinder
Tinder
all around.
relationships.
Look, we're a big believer in dating apps, right? And
It
like I
works.
said, most people use multiple dating apps at one time. We're never gonna say don't go out and try to find the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with in any way that you think works best for you. Multiple apps, whatever it may be. We're just trying to help a specific person in the process find the right people for them. If you want to be swiping all day, we're a smaller app. You might not have as many options as you do on places like Tinder. But if you don't want to swipe all day and you want to find someone you can connect with right away, then we suggest Dig.
I was going to make a little connection about the niche aspect of dating apps before, but I forgot. I use this app called Letterboxd, where I keep track of what movies I watch, and like you can keep your favorites and whatever. And lately, in the Twitter community of Letterboxd, there has been a push to make a Letterboxd dating app, which I think is one of the smartest things you can do for the film world, because if you put your favorite movies, favorite directors, favorite whatever, just like you would create a profile on Dig with, your favorite dog, your favorite director, your favorite movies, your favorite dog parks, whatever, that would cut through so much clutter.
For you.
For me, yeah, but just in general.
Yeah.
No, I feel there's a
that's the
genuine
beauty
push,
of the
and
niche,
that's the idea behind
Yeah.
Dig. And
Look,
I
at
feel
the
like
very least, it's better dates, right? Even
Yeah,
if it's
exactly.
not better people, you're doing things you love.
You sort of stop wasting your time in a sense. And I feel like it's just going to be like that for sports. It's going to be like that for concerts. It's going to be like that for music, and just this whole niche of different kinds of dating apps that save everybody's time and create more meaningful connections is going to come about.
So, speaking of the meaningful connections, what cities are the most popular cities for you guys that you're seeing a lot of activity in? Like, where are all the dog lovers and cat lovers living and
Our
using
number
the
one
app?
city is LA, actually.
All right.
And when we launched city by city across the country, it was really fun to see how different cities picked us up. We thought, for example, Austin would explode because Austin is one of the most dog-friendly cities in the country. I mean, like truly integrated dogs into their life. But because of that, a dog person's dating app was obvious, right? We didn't get, the coverage or the excitement because they were like, well, of course this is a thing. Whereas somewhere,
This exists.
I'm not going to tell anyone about it because who probably doesn't already know about it. Whereas in Boston, where I'm originally from, it's not as dog friendly. There's a lot fewer dog friendly housing. It's a lot less green space dedicated to dogs. Access to vets is lower, things like that. And so when we launched there, it was massive. We were on, all the major news channels.
Yeah.
We got spreads in different magazines, and people just started sharing it like wildfire, and it started taking off. And we said, okay, that's really interesting because we would have thought the more dog-friendly cities would have picked us up more quickly, but it's the places that are dog-friendly, they just haven't gotten to express it yet, right? They're being held back. And so that's been really interesting to watch on like the difference of dog-friendliness per city and how people react to our app.
I feel like every dog person that, is not like overly out there about being a dog person, like in Boston, just felt so seen with this app. They're like, oh my God, finally an app for me. And meanwhile in Austin, it's like, of course that fucking exists. That's been a thing.
Are there any, I mean, we don't have to name them because I don't want to name the competition, but are there other dog dating apps out there? You guys are,
so.
I think you're the first, right?
Well, there were dog specific websites, dating websites before we started. And then different people have started it per city.
Okay.
And so it's definitely something, people have wanted to pick up and continue for sure.
You guys are the only ones that I had heard of, so you are
better marketing and better press.
Fantastic with your press game, by the way. And that I don't think happened by accident. You had a bit of a career before what you're doing now, correct?
bit of a career. Yeah. I was a TV news reporter in Syracuse, New York, in Namibia and Southwest Africa, and in New Orleans, where I stayed here at WVUE Fox 8. As an investigative reporter and just TV reporter. And then I taught Intro to Journalism at Tulane University, got my master's in Homeland Security and Emergency Response Management, and started teaching media, terrorism, and disasters at Tulane to master's students in the Homeland Security Studies program before going into the nonprofit world, where I helped save the fish in the Coastal Conservation Association of Louisiana, and then moved over to Dig, and then started Tabby. I also am an anchor on NASA TV, and I support the NASA web modernization team for them as well. So I also do, helping people with press and stuff, especially small dog businesses everywhere.
All right, take a breath.
Wow.
I want to do like a rolling credits kind of thing.
Just the whole CV.
Where else has Leigh worked?
Wow, that's amazing.
That's
What
a hell of a
record.
multi-pivot, too.
Yeah, wow.
Well, there's dog people across all of that. So
Right.
Oh, of course.
dog people are the constant, right?
Yeah.
How do you go from, so it was master's, and you said Homeland Security, and that was the
A bunch of
degree,
other
right?
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I'm like still trying to remember everything.
So I'll tell you, the through line here is communications.
Okay.
And so when I was a TV news reporter, my dog's like coughing up in the
It's
background,
okay.
if that's what you hear.
Bless you.
Okay?
You okay, Mama?
You're okay. The through line here is communication. So as I was a TV reporter, started getting my master's in Homeland Security because I'm down here in New Orleans, and emergency response management is obviously a big part of anything you're going to
Yeah.
be covering in the New Orleans area. So it made sense at the time, but I transitioned out of the news, started doing that a little bit more full time as I realized Tulane's program in Homeland Security really didn't have a communications aspect to it, even though I thought it was a major, major component of what they should. So I built out a curriculum for them dedicated to looking at terrorists and emergency response communications, and also how we react to that as the audience. Again, all of it, the through line here is communications, getting the word out to the right people about the right things. And so when my sister, that whole story I told you about her dating a guy who wasn't a dog person, we sat and we said, how can we make something like this work? And we realized that she could make things look good and I could make things sound good. And if we found the right team to make it work, we'd have an awesome business, right? And so her background's in art direction. She worked at agencies across the country in LA and New York, and so in at the advertising world. And so she's done everything that you see. Every screen on the app, every advertisement, every pitch deck, talking to investors, everything you see is her, and pretty much everything you hear is me.
I like the simplicity of the app. So definitely kudos to your sister. Like,
Yeah.
It's clean. I don't know how much she had to do with UX and UI, but it feels very clean. It feels very welcoming, refreshing, and exactly what it's trying to look like for a new user. And nail on the head with that. It was
Thank you.
perfect.
Yeah, she'll definitely hear that. Appreciate it.
Wait, so in terms of on the business side of things, in terms of fun, you guys did a round a couple of years ago, right? You did like a pre-seed round, and then you recently got some funding from, I want to say, Purina?
We've gotten a bunch of grants, yeah. So we've been lucky that we did a first raise, and then we've been able to kind of rebuild the app the way that we wanted to, launch Tabby, all on grant money, so equity-free money.
Yeah, that's nice.
The first grant we got was from Purina, and then the second big grant we got last year was from the $1 Million Dating Project. So we've gotten one grant from the dog side, one grant from the dating side, because both sides want to see this work.
Yeah.
Basically, right? The dating side wants to prove that niches really do work, and that when you find the right community, there's a way to get the word out about this app through there. And then the dog side was like, let's look at this other brand new way to connect with dog people in a way that we haven't before.
Yeah.
What's really interesting is a third of our users don't have a dog yet. So for the dog industry, that's really interesting, right? Because
Wow.
Free
you're
dog.
connecting with you're connecting with people. You can't sell, dog food to people who don't have a
Right.
dog yet. They're not able to connect with them there. So they really wanted to see how that world could grow. So both sides are super interested. And then our plan was, we were a free app for a long time. We just launched subscription tiers in December. We basically wanted to take our time. We had all of our events that we had thrown across the country covered our operating costs, and we wanted to build out and make sure that this community really, wanted this, and this is something that would work. So we just launched subscription tiers a couple of months ago in the middle of the pandemic. And now we are just about to get back into the investment circuit saying, okay, look, people are paying for it. More people are coming to it every day. This is something people really want. Look how big this could be, especially now as people are turning to pets more and more because of the pandemic.
Well, I feel like big, like dog or pet in terms of cats and dogs, companies have like dollars in their eyes, dollar signs in their eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Thinking about, you have a group of people in an app that all have pets, or most of them have pets.
Or interest in.
Let us run ads there. Let us sell our products.
So that was one thing. We really didn't want to overload anyone with ads. But from the beginning, we said, okay, obviously this is an opportunity for us to take money away, not away, but not as much upfront with subscription costs if we give you, value in a different way. So we always presented ads as deals. We said, you can put an ad on our app, but it has to be some sort of exclusive deal people can't find anywhere else.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we had daily deals for a while. We put up a bunch of different types now, trying, different platforms and things like that, but a different, deal that you'll only find here for specific dog beds or CBD oil or whatever it may be.
That's smart. Yeah.
It'd be great. We could do we can do dog walking or pet sitting for people while they're out on their dates if they couldn't bring their dog, if the dog wasn't dog friendly. So we'll talk about that afterwards.
He's still trying to interweave.
I'm trying to figure out, how do we get ourselves on there?
Or get them tired before the date. Even if you want to bring your dog on the date, you're getting ready. Get your dog ready. Go
exactly.
Get him. Go
or
on
just
the
have
walk.
Dan on standby. If you guys want to go for more drinks, I'll bring the dogs home.
Yes.
And then we got you covered.
I just want people to like scroll through the app, and at some point it's just like a dead shot.
Hey, I'll take
center
your dog
video
home.
of Dan's like, hi, I'll walk your dog. Yeah, you can keep scrolling. Bye.
So obviously you guys you're moving forward towards, doing another round. What has the investor interest been like? Are people kind of chomping at the bit to get at you guys, or what's going on there?
I would say, we've been really slow because we wanted a lot more data on more months of subscription tiers. And so we've been really strategic. My ideal investor, which is just, almost funny to say out loud, but my ideal investor would be someone in the dog world or in the dating world or having both, right? Really looking at the strategic partners rather than just an influx of cash, because I think there's so much happening in both of those worlds that we really want to be even more connected into and make sure we're on the forefront of those without just taking money and saying, okay, we'll do the research on the best way to integrate video in ways that people really want, right? I want to work with people who know this already in addition to understanding the value of our app. So we've taken our time a little bit trying to find those strategics this time. But, we can always be convinced with the right investor. So
Smart money is always the best way to go. But if the check's big enough, I feel like you can make it work, right?
I mean, well, first of all, they need to be animal people, right?
Yeah.
They have
You got to be a right match. Yeah.
For
That's
sure.
like the first question. It's like, okay, well, if the first question is like how much and the number's right, then the second question doesn't matter. But, hey.
Do you guys want to hear an investment story from a
Sure.
100%.
Undisclosed name and amount.
Yeah, I don't even remember the name. It was a pitch in Boston, and it was around a table, and we were part of Mass Challenge, the accelerator program in Boston, and this was a couple years ago. And there was a table of investors, and I walk in after someone else, and the clicker dies for being able to, click through your
Great
slides.
start.
Oh.
Right. Well, for me, I'm a communicator. This is like what I thrive on. I'm like, great, we actually have a little bit more time. I can learn a little bit about you. And like, okay, I'm a dog person. What's the first thing I'm going to ask? Like, okay, any of you have dogs? No one. First of all, no one in the room had dogs. It was like
That's a
that was
killer.
okay. I was like, we can get through this. We can get through this.
Do you
One
like
guy
dogs?
Goes,
Do you know what a dog is?
wait, this is where this is going. One guy goes, not only do I not like dogs, my father told me if I can't hold an animal underwater for at least 30 seconds, then it doesn't deserve to be in my house. And that's what I've taught my kids.
How did you
I was
continue?
He has.
Excuse
Wait,
me,
this
should I
person
call
has.
the police?
This person has children. Did you have an obligation to call CPS? Where? What?
Wait,
I
it
would
gets,
have been
so,
so
it gets great.
thrown
So
off.
the room is silent. The room is silent. So then the clicker works, and up behind me goes, Dig, the dog person's dating app.
He didn't know.
I mean, I think I was in a room with like a bunch of
Oh
people.
my
It was part
God.
of the accelerator
was it before
programs.
you announced
Like
what you were there to pitch?
Yeah, the clicker wasn't working.
I think I assumed, and I didn't want to get into my pitch yet. I was just about to tell them who we
Yeah.
were. God, this.
And then the next slide is
I walked out of the
thank you. And then you just walk
Dig, the dog person standing up shows up on TV.
Was there any sort of emotional response, any sort of expression?
I should have just left. No, I think I blacked out the whole pitch. I don't know.
How do you continue a pitch like that? Like I would have been out. I would have been.
You kind of go into like autopilot.
No.
Like.
I would have run out. After that man said that, I would have run out.
I mean, I had a
I
pitch where
should have and called the police.
Yeah.
that part's really fucked up.
Oh man,
That's a dark.
I would have been like.
His point was they
"Excuse
only
me?"
have fish, but like.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I thought
I
this
know.
person was just
We
a
got to that
fucking
later, but-
sociopath.
That's a weird way of saying I only have fish as pets.
Oh, it was horrible.
Oh,
yeah.
that's a
So-
terrible analogy.
Yeah, where do you go conversationally from there?
I wouldn't
this
be
is
able-
my app for dog people.
I don't have the social skills to segue that into a reasonable
Look,
Yeah.
I thought I
sentence.
knew what I was doing. That world is tough, and that's also why we're not just jumping back into it. We really wanted
Right.
to build our case, and you guys see the value. Our users see the value.
Yeah.
But we're a small dating app in a world where there's a lot of big ones.
Yeah.
It's not always an obvious sell, so that's why we really want to talk to the right people.
Yeah, going out there and pitching is
Yeah.
never easy. I mean, I had a
with Smartline.
Yeah, I had a tech company in the restaurant space, and I remember one of my most confident pitches that I thought I had done. I went in and I was like, I nailed it, and they come with their questions at the end. I didn't tell them what to do. What the app was. I didn't explain what
you
we
just
did.
assumed
They were like, I'm sorry, you didn't tell us what your app was. And I was like, oh shit, we're not getting the money, are we? We didn't get the money from them. But it's definitely a nerve-wracking thing going and doing that. But obviously with your background and being able to get up there and have a conversation with people and being able to think on your toes, that's a really valuable skill set for what you're doing. And you guys have a ton of press. We were going through People Magazine, Good Morning America. There were some big ones.
Refinery
How I Built
21
This,
is
NPR,
huge.
that was a good one.
Wait a minute. Hold up. You got to have a conversation with Guy Raz?
No, we did the you built that segment at the end and you talked to one of the producers. But they edit it like you talked to Kyra.
Yeah.
Oh
so.
my God.
Yeah.
Like
They
Sounds
put it
like
in.
I did.
that is one of my, first of all, that's so fucking cool. And congratulations. Because
Thank you.
that's like one of my like goal podcasts. I'm like, oh man, I hope they want to talk to me one day.
About
Yeah, we
everything
talked.
that
I think
did.
it was an hour and a half conversation that cut down to like 2 minutes 30 seconds. And if you don't have a communications background, they're trying to get you to say something. I mean, they want emotion, and they're great at what they do. But like, I'm not gonna crack, right? And so I think we were
minutes.
just on there for so long trying to get me like, what was the hardest part of being, all this
Right.
stuff. You got to give them something.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It can be hard to be on those big podcasts because not that y'all don't know what you're doing, but like they're really looking for what they're looking for, which is great. But it's hard to be on the receiving end sometimes.
Oh, I could
don't know
imagine.
how I would do in that situation.
All I know is like a clip of me crying, I feel like would do well.
Yeah. I
The
mean, you did
emotional
admit,
side?
Oh,
you did
immediately.
admit to
Immediately
crying.
start crying. It'll
Yeah.
work.
You did admit to crying during a Jackson Galaxy episode.
Oh yeah, I mean, I cry constantly. I grew up in a household where my dad cries at like. Actually, I have
I feel like also animal people show more emotion. We're more
sure.
prone to emotion, I feel.
I mean, we are.
We are.
Like,
we cry every week.
cry a fair amount.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, how could you not be, right? So, my question for you guys, obviously, you want to get as many cat and dog people on here. Do you have any future plans for reptile people, primate people?
Ooh.
Like, is there any additional more niche down stuff? What's the future for you guys? What's the end game here?
So, are you interested in investing? Is that why you're asking?
I'm just curious.
Maybe.
I'm just kidding. So I'll put the question back on y'all only because we can kind of go in two directions. We can do more dog and more cat, like connecting people in different ways, but focusing on that animal, or more niche. Why stop at animals if we really understand how niche works? And so we have that conversation a lot of like, what do we think people really want and really need? Right now, obviously the dog and cat markets are much bigger than the other markets, but I'd say the next one would be multi-animal. And making sure that that's an option. I will say we do get a lot of requests for horses.
Ooh,
and horses, that makes a lot of sense to me, because that is, when you're talking about money, you're talking about lifestyle, that is a completely different change. And so we certainly see so much value in so many other types of niches out there. But is it actually helping you if the community is so small? Right? We want to make something that's actually going to help you start the right conversations, whereas you start to get too small, everyone either already knows each other around who's in that world, or a bad dating app does more harm than not being there. And the reason I say that is you have so much hope. You have so much potential when you get on these apps. If there's no one on there, or if nobody's responding to you, we are crushing you when we are trying to help you find love. And so we don't want to just duplicate everything we have and bring on one person who understands reptiles better than me and go out and do it. Like, we really want to understand that community and make sure that what we're bringing to the table is going to be valuable to you.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I don't mean to
you're pushing the movie one.
I don't mean
still,
to.
aren't
No,
you?
I don't mean to assume the future. No, I would love that. Like, Letterboxd, if you're listening, get on it.
You're in a committed relationship.
No.
Just
I
to
would
remind
invest. I would be like a first. I love movies. Like that's my thing. But I was gonna say, the filtering aspect of dating apps. You are like Dig and Tabby are a filter on their own, like from all the other apps. What about Match Group is its own umbrella. You have your own umbrella app or umbrella company of animal lovers that are looking for a significant other. And then you go in and it's like reptiles, birds, blah, blah, blah. And you can click and choose whatever you want. I mean, eventually I feel like that's what it's going to get to. But like you said, the two biggest markets, dogs and cats, and it's working out pretty well so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the umbrella company idea is obviously a wonderful one. And so it's certainly on the table for us.
Yeah, I feel like we're really going in with these investor questions.
No, because I feel like that's huge. That's amazing.
Bring it. Let's see what I can do.
when
I think it's great. I think the dog world is so big. Right. There could be niche dating apps within dog, like we've
Golden
talked
retriever.
about. And so you could go that way. Yeah, I will say we've strayed away. I didn't mean to make but I did want to point it out. We've strayed away from focusing on breeds.
I like that, though.
That's good.
I really don't like the idea of people being breedist on the app. Like, it's much more about compatibility. So you can look by dog size, but you can't look by a dog breed. You can see the breed right away in the photo and make a decision there. But if you're dating someone just because they have a French bulldog, and you've always wanted a French bulldog, like, go get a French bulldog.
Yeah, it's counterproductive because that connection is not. It doesn't mean that it's going to be a great
Probably
connection.
not going to be a great relationship.
Yeah, it's like
I'm only there for the dog.
I'm only meeting up with you because I want to pet a French bulldog.
I am here for Marley.
Look, I mean, we've all done it, and it's why you go pet some dogs and let other dogs, and that's fine. But at this point, I think straying away from that makes a little bit more sense. But there's a lot of other things we can do for sure. We really want to make sure Dig and Tabby are top notch before we stray anywhere else.
Well, we can definitely hear how much, how passionate you are. And after doing the homework that we did, you guys really know your stuff and you've gotten some great results and, you've been doing some amazing work out there. So where can everybody find you? You're available for both Android and iOS, correct?
Yes, and websites. So this was actually something else we launched during COVID. So you don't have to hide your dating app at work under your desk anymore. You can look on the computer since it's out in front of you at home, right? And so you can actually log into Dig now at digdates.com and tabbydates.com.
Oh, that's cool.
Awesome. And where can people find you on social media?
At Digdates and at Tabbydates on everything.
Beautiful.
Everything will be here for everyone interested. And if you're listening and you're single and you have a dog or planning to have a dog or have a cat and planning to have a cat, Dig and Tabby.
Go download it.
Go download them. And honestly, I like more about the fact that you understand the emotional aspect of
Yeah.
all of this, not just like, oh, this is a cool, nifty app, blah, blah, blah.
You didn't do it just because it was a good
Right.
business idea. You did it because, I call it the art of giving a shit.
There we go.
You
That's
care.
what I was getting at.
You
Well,
really
look,
care.
we had our whole business available for free for multiple years.
Exactly.
We did not go in with the business mindset. We
Yeah.
certainly went in with imagine this. You start a business and the end result is people finding love.
Oh,
That's pretty cool.
yeah, that's fucking beautiful.
That's pretty cool. So you get to hang out
That's
with.
such a soundbite. Hold on, let's just bask in that because that's gonna
Okay.
be a clip
And the clip. So your life
What do they
is
say in the movie world? And see.
and scene.
love, dogs and cats, and spaceships.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's your day to day.
My day's really cool. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Like I love what I do. I get to work with animals, but like I'd love a little bit of spaceships in my
Yeah.
life. That's
Also, the bragging
Yeah,
rights of
just
being
a
like, I'm
tad
the
bit of
reason for your
spaceship.
relationship.
yeah. I'd be like, oh, I work for NASA. Not a big deal.
Yep.
Well,
You
Leigh,
got me there. It's just really true. I do
Yeah, no,
really cool
you've
stuff.
got a really fucking cool resume. You get to do really, really cool stuff.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much for bringing this into the world. The world needed this.
Especially in the last year. Yeah,
Yeah.
this was very needed.
You've probably made a lot of people very, very happy. So on behalf of all animal lovers out there, thank you for building what you and your sister have built. And, we look forward to seeing where you guys take this, and we look forward to seeing the future.
Thank you guys so much. And tell all your single friends about Dig and Tabby.
Oh, we will.
Oh, we
This is
absolutely
going
will. We're
up
going
in
to
all
promote
our
the crap
socials.
out of it.
Sweet.
All right,
Thank you
Leigh.
guys so much.
Thank you, Lee.
Thank you so much.